Hey guys, welcome back again and welcome to Answers on Eschatology. My name is Dan Derry and I am the president of the Institute of Fulfilled Eschatology. I am doing a second video here in a response to a good friend of mine who is a Jehovah's Witness, and this is a response to his claim that Daniel chapter 7 and 14 is prophetic of a future earthly messianic rule and reign upon the earth. Okay? Now, let's go to Daniel 7:14 and read the text. And then from there we will jump into what I want to say today. 7:14, and to him was given dominion, glory, and a kingdom, that all peoples, nations, and men of every language might serve him. His dominion is an everlasting dominion which will not pass away, and his kingdom is one which will not be destroyed. Now, I showed you last video that Daniel 7:14 is obviously connected to Daniel 7:13. And in verse 13, we have the coming of the Son of Man on the clouds of heaven. So the establishment of the kingdom of 14 is, or the giving of the kingdom to Messiah, its establishment in 14 would come at the coming of the Son of Man on the clouds of heaven. And we showed you that Matthew chapter 24, verse 30 to 34, Jesus emphatically states that his coming on the clouds of heaven, the Son of Man, would be fulfilled in the first century generation. So, therefore, we proved that Daniel 7:14, the Messianic kingdom establishment, was in fact fulfilled in the first century when the Son of Man came on the clouds of heaven. Now, I want to look at another text in Daniel 7, which is also in the context, obviously, of Daniel 7:14, and prove this from another way. So, let's just go down. And in Daniel 7:21 to 22, let's read it. I kept looking, and that horn was waging war with the saints and overpowering them. Watch this. Until the Ancient of Days came, and judgment was passed in favor of the saints of the highest one. And the time arrived when the saints took possession of the kingdom. Down to 27. Then the sovereignty and dominion, the greatness of all the kingdoms under the whole heaven will be given to the people of the saints of the highest one. His kingdom will be an everlasting kingdom, and all dominions will serve and obey him. So here's what we have now. We have Daniel 7:14, which is the establishment of the Messianic kingdom. We have that in the context and in the same time frame that the saints would receive the kingdom, the everlasting kingdom. Now, if we can determine when the saints receive the kingdom, we will have determined the time for the fulfillment of Daniel 7:14. So, once again, let's go to the New Testament and we will look at Hebrews chapter 12. So, Hebrews chapter 12, jump down with me to verse 26. Watch this very carefully. And his voice shook the earth then. But now he has promised yet once more, and I will shake not only earth, but heaven. This expression, yet once more, denotes the removing of those things which can be shaken as of created things, so that those things which cannot be shaken may remain. Verse 28, therefore, since we are receiving a kingdom which cannot be shaken. Guys, did you catch it? In 64 to 65 AD, at the time the book of Hebrews was written, the writer says that they were at that time receiving the kingdom, which could not be shaken. And you got to catch this, guys. In the context of Hebrews chapter 12, specifically 26 to 28, what was being shaken was the old covenant kingdom and the old covenant itself. And what was remaining was the new covenant, okay? And the new covenant world. So the context is that they were receiving a kingdom through the transition of covenants. As the old covenant was fading away and the new covenant was coming fully into expression and fully into existence, they were receiving the kingdom. In other words, the kingdom was being received through the new covenant. Okay? Watch this. Hebrews chapter 12 is proof that the Messianic kingdom was being received by the saints in the first century as they were receiving the new covenant. But Daniel chapter 7, 21 and following says that the saints would receive the Messianic eternal kingdom when, follow this, when the kingdom was established as the Messiah's kingdom in Daniel 7:14. Guys, this is powerful proof, again, that Daniel 7:14 and the time when Messiah received his kingdom and all nations served and obeyed him was, in fact, in the first century, no later than AD 70. That's it for this video, guys. We'll pick it up next time. I've got more to say on Daniel 7:14, and we'll pick that up next time on Answers on Eschatology. Bye for now.